Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. As we read about Jacob and his two wives, Leah and Rachel, we find that, of course, Jacob loves Rachel more than Leah. He basically had love at first sight for Rachel. She's the one that he initially wanted to marry, but he was tricked into marrying Leah by their father Laban. And he ends up marrying Leah and then promises to work another 7 years for Rachel. But Rachel becomes, and is always really, his favorite wife, and he loves her more than Leah. However, we find in our reading today in chapter 29 and verse 35 that it's through Leah, actually, that Judah would be born. And it's through Judah that the Messiah would eventually be born, that is, Jesus Christ. And so we find that the wife that was loved less is the one that was most blessed. And this becomes a pattern in the story of the patriarchs here in Genesis. And it teaches us a very important principle about God. Whoever it was that was picked by people, by humans, was not picked by God. This happens over and over again. If you remember, Abraham, he thought that Ishmael should be the promised son. God had promised that it would be through Abraham's body that, all these descendants would come, and that through him all the nations of the earth would be blessed. And Abraham thinks, okay, Ishmael is from my body. He should be able to be the one through whom the blessing flows. However, God says, no, I haven't chosen Ishmael. You're going to have a son through Sarah. And it's actually through Isaac then that the blessing comes. And then Isaac has two sons, Jacob and Esau. And Isaac loves Esau more than Jacob. And Isaac actually wants to bless Esau, but was tricked, similar to what we find here with Leah and Rachel. He's tricked into actually blessing Jacob instead of Esau. And so God had, even though Isaac would have chosen Esau, God had chosen Jacob, through whom the promise would be fulfilled. And then you have Jacob with these two wives, who probably, if he had his own way, would have wanted the blessing, the promises, to go through his favored wife, Rachel. But they don't. He goes through Leah. And we'll find out later in our readings that Jacob is going to love Joseph and Benjamin more than the rest of their brothers. However, it's not through them that the Messiah would come. It would be through Judah. And so, time and time again, we see that who man would choose is not who God would choose. And it's almost as though God is intentionally choosing those who man did not choose in order to show his sovereignty and to show that he's the one who's making the choices. He's the one that holds the cards. And he's the one who's going to ultimately fulfill the promise. And it's going to be through God's working, not through man's working. And that becomes a very strong theme in the book of Genesis. And it becomes a very important principle for us as well, because this teaches us also that, we can't choose our own way to salvation. We can't choose who our Messiah is going to be. God is the one who chooses. As we are told in the book of Acts, there's no other name by which we may be saved. And Jesus says himself in the book of John, I am the way and the truth and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. And so we might choose a lot of different other people that we think are going to, help us to attain to some type of, higher achievement, maybe spiritually or physically or whatever. And we might think that we might have other people that we would choose, that we would want to follow and become our Savior. But we have to recognize that God is the sovereign one. He's the one who makes the choices. He's the one who can say who will bring our salvation. And it's just up to us to submit. It's not for us to say, well, why does it have to be that way? Why can't it be this person? Or why can't it be several people? Well, God is God and we are not. And he gets to choose who it is through whom the salvation comes. And he has chosen Jesus Christ. And it's Jesus Christ that we must accept. It's Jesus Christ that we must submit to. It's Jesus Christ we must place our faith in. And so this principle is brought to us very early in the Bible. And it's something that must remain in the forefront of our minds as we continue through the Bible, and even as we continue through our lives, to accept what God chooses and to recognize that God has the right to choose what he chooses, and we just have the duty to submit to that, to accept that, and to follow in line with that. So these are some things we reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.